Good evening, everybody. Nice to have you here again. Let's see here. I've got a little bit of an echo happening. I can take care of that right now. Good. I think I can anyway. Excellent. Michael, how are you? Nice to have you here. And Steve, David, Lisa Marie, you might see some Hi, you might see some familiar faces here, Michael. Michael is, I think this is your first time here too, Michael, isn't it? Yeah, yeah. Well, the thing is that this chat, I've only been running, I don't know, maybe 6 months, if that. Yeah, I think so. It probably was. I know that, like, I teach for Mohawk online, and that's on Monday nights, and that class is over. Well, yeah, the fall class is over, and I've just started the winter class, so they're only in part one right now. Anyway, thank you for joining us. I'm just going to do a little bit of housekeeping here. I'm adding a few people so that I can, if I want to, if they want to, I can show images. Ah, Andrew's here. I'll wait until he gets in. Hi, Andrew. How's it going?
How's it going?
Yeah, good. Hey, you look cold. Here. What are you, in the garage?
No, I'm in my room. I'm just chillaxing.
Okay. Cheers, everybody. Alrighty. Let's see. I think we've got a few people probably. Yeah, we've got a few people watching on YouTube. You know, if you're watching on YouTube, um, let me know. Let me know where you're from and maybe who you are. That really helps us. And I can post that. Usually, I like to post any chat messages that people have, or if any questions, like at the end. Usually, if I have a presentation tonight, there's nobody here for a presentation except me and maybe you. But generally, what I like to do is make sure that everybody has a chance to have questions after a presentation. In an informal setting like this one, not that the other one's formal, in an informal setting like this one, you can just turn on your mic and blurb out a question. It's like being in the same room. That's how I really like to keep it. And let's see. Oh, we've got somebody here. Okay, Wally, nice to see you here. And I'm glad you were able to make it. Wally's on YouTube. And holy mackerel, that must be Chilla from British Columbia. Hi, Chilla. I'm glad you could make it. Thanks for coming in. And next time, maybe you guys can come into the Zoom, and then you can contribute and you can be part of the conversation too. Right now, if you happen to be on YouTube, then just enjoy the event as it goes on. Okay, what I'd like to talk about first of all, before I get into my little presentation, and the only thing I'm going to talk about tonight as part of the presentation is people have been asking me, how do you buy a camera? What steps do you go? How do you make a decision? So perhaps I can help you with that. Anyway, that'll be in a minute. But right now, oh, okay. Thanks, Sheila. All right, and that's my niece, by the way. Just in case anybody's wondering, she's out in British Columbia. So, yeah, she got a good reach all the way into Ontario. Fantastic. Listen, let's see. Where am I going with this now? what I'd like to do, I'm just going to move a couple of windows around because I've got two screens going and it's full of windows because of the way that I've set everything up. Because I'm simul broadcasting to Zoom and YouTube at the same time. The software I'm using is phenomenal because I can broadcast to simultaneously to Zoom, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, X, and a couple of others. I don't know what they are. I don't even know what they are. So, but the only two that I do is Zoom and YouTube. Maybe I'll experiment sometime and see if I can link in or simulcast to LinkedIn. I think that would probably be a good place to go. But it's not as elegant as Zoom or YouTube. Those are the two best ones. Now, the only thing about YouTube, if you go there to join this, is that there's about a 10 to 15 second delay between what happens here and when it appears on YouTube. So if there are questions, there might be a delay in the answer too. So anyway, all right, let's see. So I just wanted to talk about some of the upcoming events, and Michael has agreed to come and talk a little bit about, and let's see here. Yeah. Doing photography and working with models. And he's going to show some of his photographs and talk about some of the challenges of working with models and how he works, what equipment he uses, what kind of lighting he uses. I'm assuming all of that is going to be part of it, right, Michael?
Yeah, but I'm not going heavy on technique. I'm going heavy on where I draw my inspiration from and how to treat models, how to be respectful, how to get the best results basically out of a model shoot.
Good. And I'm looking forward to that. I know that you've also participated in some of the fashion shoots that we had at Mohawk. Did an excellent job there. So, and I've been I've been following your work anyway, and you've done some amazing work. I've really liked it.
Thank you.
So I'm looking forward to the 28th of January. That you're going to be here that Wednesday night at 7 o'clock doing a little bit of a presentation, and naturally people will be here and they can ask questions and get more details from you. All righty. Now, let's see. What's the next thing that's going to be coming? Oh, yeah, photography with film. That's going to be a novel idea. I've got a photographer coming in. He shoots a lot of film, and he's going to be showing some of the photographs that he's produced with film and why he chose film as his medium. Not that he doesn't shoot digital, he does, but film is his pet project. And I think, Lisa Marie, you know this guy because you recommended him. So I got in touch with him, and he was willing to show some of his work. So that's going to be, I'm looking forward to that. But now this is interesting because while he's doing that, he's at some point, we haven't set a date yet, but it'll be soon. I got in touch with somebody else, or I found somebody else, and this guy works in black and white film, and he does film processing, and he has supplies for people that want to set up their own darkroom. So he's got all the Patterson tanks and reels and everything else that he sells. I don't know where he got them. Maybe they're selling them again. But he'll take your black and white stuff and process it for you. And so he's doing this on a fairly small level. But yeah, he and he'll be coming here to talk about it. And I'm kind of hoping, actually, he's doing it as a bit of a hobby right now, but he's branching out, so he's doing other people's work as well. And let's see, is there anybody else? I just want to make sure nobody else is in the wings here. Yeah, he hopefully branches out and does a lot more of this work, and it turns into a little bit of a business for him. That would be excellent if that happened. Okay. Andrew, I've just added you, so I think I've added everybody now. And Michael. Good. All righty. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Okay. Thanks. You get asked this a lot of time, what kind of camera to buy? It's always a hard nut to crack, but anyway, I'll be talking about that in just a second. But my next subject is Chris Atkins is coming back. Now, I called Chris and I said to him, would you mind coming back and doing a little bit of a presentation on some of your adventures? And this guy, he has adventures, trust me. Anyway, I asked him if he could come and do a little bit of a talk on his deep sea diving. He does film and photography underwater, and one of his last projects was a galleon in the Caribbean that they were looking for, and I think they found it. But he's going to do a little presentation on that, and he says, can you hold off until maybe May on that one, because they're actually putting together a documentary which will be presented on television on a channel. What do they call those channels? Public channels. And he'll be the film will be released there. So he says he doesn't want to preempt that, but he says I will give you a talk on the deep sea photography that I did looking for a U-boat off the coast of Newfoundland. So he's going to be doing that in some period. He hasn't given me a date yet either, but it'll probably be January, February. So those are the people I'm looking at right now coming up. But there are a few more sort of in the wings. I've got possibly Terry Gilman coming back and talking about her sailing around the world with her husband. I can't remember how long they took off. It was like a year or two, and they just went to all kinds of places sailing. So she's going to be coming, hopefully, and talking about some of the challenges that presented her. She was already here talking about, if you want, you can catch her presentation on my YouTube channel, and she was talking about Madagascar and the challenges she had there with her, I think it was Canon camera, that brand new Canon camera that fell apart because of the humidity and the heat. And Canon said to her, yeah, that happened with our cameras. And she kind of said, it would have been nice to know. You know. Anyway, she resorted to another small pocket point and shoot, and she got some fantastic images, which just goes to show you it's the talent of the cook and not the quality of the frying pan, right? So let's see. I think that's it for there. Let's talk about how to buy a camera. And this is a challenge, I think, for most people, because they go in not knowing what they should be looking at, what they should be looking for. And I do have a few pointers that I think might be helpful in that regard. Now, I'm not saying this is the be-all and the end-all for this, but let's start off with talking about what buying a camera means to most people. Now, whoa, did I ever... I think I have to move. There. Okay, now I'm centered up. I like to be centered. Thank you. That's sort of my mantra, being centered. Okay, buying a camera. Things to consider. What are the things to consider? First one is budget. And whenever I say budget, people always give me the low end of their budget. No, don't do that. What's the most you can spend on a camera? Because I want you to spend it all. I always start off my Photo 1 classes with, I'm going to help you spend money. And that's the whole thing here too. I'm going to help you spend money. If you're going to buy a camera, buy the best you can afford. Because there's nothing more frustrating than buying a camera on the cheap because it's available and it was priced lower, it was a big sale on it, and then finding out 6 months later you've grown out of it. It's not the camera you wanted. So I always say buy above your target. That way you'll grow into the camera rather than grow out of it. So budget is an important thing. And usually when it comes to budget, what I suggest you do is you go into a quality camera store, and I'm not promoting any particular store here, but I'm going to say that in Hamilton you might go to Henry's, or you might go to Bell Art, or you might go to Vistec in Mississauga. And what you do is you go in and you say, I have $1,500 to spend, or whatever. Would you bring me the three top cameras that fit into that category and put them in front of me? So that's your first thing, is find out what cameras will fit into that category. So they're put in front of you. And I think the next thing that you start looking at is, what do I want to photograph? Am I a nature photographer? Am I photographing events? Am I photographing weddings? Am I photographing fine art, still life? I don't know. Whatever you're photographing, that's something that you should keep in mind when you're buying a camera, because other factors will come into that. So keep that in mind when you're looking at cameras and the following things, right? And the next thing is camera size and weight. Now, cameras come in all sizes and all weights. And when I was shooting weddings, I was shooting at first with an RB67, a Mimi RB67. That thing was a pig. It should have been a studio camera, but I was shooting weddings with it. And not only that, I had what do they call them? A Zeiss flash that was attached at the bottom, and it's a big, huge flash. And on top of that, that flash had a battery pack that you wore as a strap-on thing. And I'll tell you, by the end of the wedding, my arm, if you could see it here, was shaking like this, because of holding it all day with the grip. But then, and that was with film. Then we got into digital, which allowed me to go to a smaller camera and still have the same quality, and that was nice. But camera size and weight mean a big thing. So depending on are you going to carry this thing around all day, you might want a lighter camera. Or are you just shooting in the studio, then you might look at a heavier camera, because it doesn't matter there. You're going to be on a tripod anyway. The latest camera I got was this little puppy, and this is a Nikon Z50, and it's a mirrorless camera. Now, with the mirrorless cameras, because you might run up against this, you might be looking at DSLRs, which are the digital single lens reflex, which means the viewfinder that you're looking through is actually looking through the lens. Whereas on the mirrorless camera, the image that you see is not an optical image. It's an electronic viewfinder, so you're looking at the same image that the LCD on the back is looking at. So you're looking at a small LCD. And not that that matters too much. They're damn good. They're really nice. Matter of fact, it's interesting. I was just looking at some consumer point-and-shoot kind of cameras, and they have pop-up electronic viewfinders now, so that if it's really sunny out and you can't see the image on the LCD screen on the back of your camera, you can have this pop-up viewfinder that gives you an electronic image, and you can put your eye up against it and shoot. And they're tiny little things. It pops up almost like the flash on some of the cameras used to. So, that's consideration too. But camera size and weight. Now, when it comes to size and weight, there are a couple of other things too. Some cameras, like this one, for example, just barely fits my hand in here. And if you have bigger hands than I do, then you might be holding it with your fingers almost away and not being able to curl around the grip. One of those consumer cameras I was talking about is totally smooth, no texture at all on the body. And the one big thing about that is it slips out of people's hands. You need to have a wrist strap for that puppy. But this one just makes it for me. I've had cameras too where my fingers didn't go quite deep enough, and didn't feel that secure. But this one works, and that's an important thing. So you should pick up each camera, hold it. Does it feel good in your hands? So that's the ergonomics of, that camera. Is it good for you? Does it feel good for you? And other things that you should look at besides the ergonomics is the LCD on the back. Have a look at the LCD. Make sure that it's easy for you to read. And personally, and again, like I say, these are personal things for me only, but I like an LCD that pops out. Now this one pops out so that I can point it down. That means if I'm shooting high, I don't have to get on a ladder, stool, anything. I can just point this down, and while standing down, I can look at it here and take my shot over people's heads if that's what's required. The other thing is that I can point it up like this. So if I'm taking a low angle shot, I don't have to lay down on my belly to get a photograph of a bug or a bloom, a blossom of some sort on the ground. I can just lower the camera and I can still see the image on the back. And of course it has an electronic viewfinder too, so that's not a real problem. But I like this. Now some cameras, you can actually turn these so that the LCD is pointing forward. That means you can do a selfie with this camera. But get a load of the design. The tripod goes here. Well, that's a bonehead move, isn't it? Because if the tripod goes here, you can't see the LCD. Now, they've overcome that with some other camera manufacturers that you can actually take this, instead of going down like this, it goes above the camera. And that works. But this is practically useless if you're mounting it on a tripod or any kind of mount at all. You can't see the LCD screen to do the selfie. So anyway, that's just a pet peeve here and a bonehead move on design. Let me see.
It's those Nikons, right?
Hey, don't diss my Nikon. And you know what? That's the other thing too. People ask Nikon, Canon. I have no idea. I've used both, and I've used some other manufacturers too. Whatever works and whatever suits the situation at the time, that's what I go with. And I don't have any favorites. As long as the damn thing works and does what I want it to. That's my favorite camera. So outside of that selfie thing, but you know what? I don't take selfies with this. I use my phone. So yeah, selfies aren't that important. They're not high on my priority list.
Jorj,
So
are
the
you gonna
LCD,
come back-
yes?
Jorj, are you going to come back to the topic of the subject matter that you shoot? You
Yes.
said, bear in mind, like you gave the example of saying, I've got $1,500 to spend, and maybe there's 3 cameras laid out in front of you. So let's say you are a person who's mainly interested in landscapes, or in my case, I'm mainly interested in models.
Yeah.
Or let's say I want something that'll serve everything. I want something that'll cover the entire waterfront of photography. So when I know that about myself, how do I apply that to the 3 cameras that are sitting in front of me?
Well, here's the thing. Number one, sometimes people go out shopping. They say, this is the type of photography I want to do. But you've had no experience in it. Then it's a little bit of a problem because you don't know what kind of camera to buy for that kind of shooting. And you have to rely on a couple of things. Number one, people like yourself. If you know somebody that's into that type of photography online or perhaps even in a forum such as this one, it's a good idea to go in there and ask somebody like you, I want to shoot models. Can you suggest a camera that's good for that? And you might say, well, maybe, you might want a lighter camera because you're going to be doing a lot of moving around. The camera in many situations in model photography has to be pretty mobile. And you don't want to be lugging a heavy camera around. Having said that, if you're doing travel photography, I wouldn't even buy a DSLR. I wouldn't even buy a mirrorless camera because I'd want something I could pocket. Now they're making cameras that have like just phenomenal zooms, 200 times zooms and up, and it's just great for travel. And they are 20 million pixels. So, yeah, they've got the pixel count, no doubt about it. But again, talking about pixel count, I don't think it's really that important, depending on what you're doing with it. Now, pixel count is important if you're making wallpaper. Okay, if you're doing big posters and things like that, then yeah, pixel count is important. But I have to ask you, based on my experience with students and people who have taken my course and have gone on, what's the largest that they've enlarged photographs to? I'm going to tell you, you're lucky if they do an 8 by 10. Nobody makes prints anymore. They keep everything online on their computer. A matter of fact, some people use their iPhone as an album for all their photography. If you ask them about last Christmas, oh, do you have the photographs from last Christmas? They show you their iPhone, and it's all on there. And I slap my head and I say, are you kidding? What happens if you lose your iPhone, it breaks, or what? You've lost all that history. At least I hope you downloaded it to your computer, to a cloud drive or something, upload it to a cloud drive. But yeah, does that sort of cover it for you, or
Well, I guess what you're saying is the weight, I guess.
Yeah,
The actual weight of the camera is the key consideration to relate to the type of photography you want to do. Is that it? Like you
that's
gave the
it.
example of wedding, wedding photographer who can't be lugging around something that's going to, tire them out too quickly.
Trust me. No, you
Yeah.
don't want that. Yep, you don't want that. You see, I went from the RB67 to a Bronica 645, and much smaller camera, still good quality, smaller film size. It was 6 by 4.5 film size, but light camera. It was a beautiful little camera, that Bronica. And then when digital came in, because that Bronica was still film, when digital came in, then I went to, my first camera was a Canon. The Canon had some features that I really loved. Again, you're looking at features when you're talking about camera. And one of the things that I always say is look at the viewfinder. And that's one of the features that you always have to look at. Look at the viewfinder, put your eye up to it, and see if you can see all the information inside that viewfinder by putting your eye up to it without going like this. Okay, I'm exaggerating, but some people do that. And that's a pain to have to kind of search around. You should have a viewfinder you can put up to your eye. Now, I usually don't shoot with glasses, but if I were shooting with glasses, I would make sure I'm wearing my glasses, put the viewfinder up, get nice and close, and see if you can see everything without too much trouble. That's really important. The electronic viewfinder. Now, it doesn't matter if it's electronic or optical. You want that to be able to see all the details in there, because I always tell people you should be shooting with the information that's in your viewfinder and not on the back of the LCD, unless you're in a studio setting. But for the most part, everything that's on the LCD is also on the viewfinder, the important information. So, and the reason I like shooting through the viewfinder is because you know exactly what you're pointing at. Now, the other thing, the neat thing about mirrorless, and I'll just mention this, there's no mirror obviously inside it, no prism, so no big hump. So that's the weight loss factor. But I think that because there's no mirror, there's no dark spot in your shooting, because every time you press the shutter release on a DSLR, the mirror flips up and you're blind for that moment. Now, if you're taking short shots, that's fine, but if you're taking longer exposures, even a 30th, 15th, 8th of a second, that can make a little bit of a difference because you lose sight of your subject in that time on a DSLR. Whereas with one of these, no, you don't. When you take the photograph, you see the subject continuously. All right. Let's see, what else is there that I can say about? The only other thing that I can really talk about is make sure that all the buttons and levers on the camera are easily accessible to you. I think that's, relatively important because you want it to be that way. For example, with some cameras, with some Nikon cameras anyway, I think it's the same with Canon, but this back selector dial is my shutter speed. The front selector dial is my aperture. On some cameras, the back selector dial does both. Well, how does that work? You can select the shutter speed, or there's a button you have to hold down, and while you're holding it, you use the back selector dial to change your aperture. So, yeah, that's a little clumsy. I like a separate control for aperture and shutter speed because it's a lot faster for me to change, and less likely that I accidentally don't push it well enough and I'm not changing my aperture, and then I have to look, where is it? Oh, there it is, and I got it. Yeah, anyway, you get what I mean. So those are a few of the things that I suggest that you look at when it comes to selecting a camera. Now, there are a couple of other things. You should always ask if there are any extras that you can have. For example, if you buy this equipment, hey, how about giving me a UV filter for my lens? And, for the price of a UV filter, I don't think they're going to shrink from that, and they'll say, yeah, okay, we can give you a UV filter. It's a good idea. I mean, UV filters are like mid-range, 35, $40. High range, they won't give you those. You have to buy those. But still, they're good. And I think that they're important. They protect your lens. They protect the coating on your lens. They protect the lens from damage, and if you're a pet photographer, they prevent it from being licked. So, yeah, you want to make sure that... All right,
Jorj?
What else? Yes.
Jorj, one thing, when I was doing courses at Mohawk, when I went into Henry's, I always told them I was a student and I was got a discount on most of the items I brought. So that's something else to try.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody just left a little message here. If not about the camera, it's all about the lens. And lens are what cost. You know what? I always recommend that if you're buying a lens, again, spend the money. You won't regret it. Because in some cases, you might even say, okay, this kit looks great with that lens, but can we upgrade the lens? And sometimes they'll let you do that. They'll take the cost of the kit lens off an upgraded lens. You pay a little bit more, but trust me, it's worth it. Why are some lenses more expensive than other lenses? They might even be the same focal length. Because, number one, they're better glass. Number two, better engineering. So those are the two factors that can raise the cost of your lens. But your lens is what creates the image. The camera body just, that's the guts that just, accepts the exposure. It gets the picture. It doesn't do anything to the quality of the image that's coming through to the sensor. Your lens does. So oftentimes, a little bit more money spent on the lens is a lot sharper image, better contrast, better colors, all of these things. So there's no surprise that sometimes, you can get a $500 lens or a $1,500 lens and they're the same focal length. And you say, oh, really? Why? Why? That's why. Better image. So I don't know if anybody has had any experience with that. Anyway, thank you very much for that little note. Okay. Now, that brings me to the next part of our evening. Where are we here? And that is, does anybody have anything to show us? A couple of images, anything that you've been doing lately that you might want to share? Anything? Steve? No?
George. Well, I don't have any new photos from last week, but I forgot until just before I logged on to the chat here. I bought some new cameras on the weekend,
Oh,
old school.
of course.
So Gabriel's not here to see them.
No, I know.
So I figured I'd share some the old little Kodak camera. So I haven't even tested it out yet to see if it works.
Yeah.
And I got another a TLR. So it's not a Rolleiflex, but it's I forget the brand.
Well, there's Mamiya Flex.
Rico
They made a
Flex.
TLR. Pardon me?
It's a Rico Flex.
Oh, Rico. Yeah. Yeah, I'm familiar
Yeah.
with the Ricos.
So yeah.
You know, yeah, my
it's
very
worth
first
testing.
my very first camera was a Miranda. I don't know if anybody came across Miranda film cameras, but oh, it's a great little camera. And the lenses I put on that were Soligor lenses. So I had some good images with that 35 millimeter baby. Andrew, are you still shooting with or collecting cameras?
Yeah, I still shoot film.
Yeah.
I
Well,
I'm mostly on a Mamiya 645 right now. That's what I usually shoot.
oh man, that's nice. Yeah. Yeah, they're a big camera, eh? But I like the
Yeah,
bellows
it's
on those things.
and then I just got a Canon EOS N1. So that's like the kind of looks like the like a digital body, but it shoots the 35 millimeter and
Yeah.
takes all the digital lenses. So,
Well, that's cool. That's good.
but yeah.
Uh,
So
okay. David, do you have anything for us? Your mic is off. Can't hear you, David. Nope. I'm really poor at lip reading. I don't know. You've got
Oh,
microphone.
sorry, I had it
Oh, there
turned
we go.
off. Yeah, there we go. I'll start again. I got some wall art which I took downtown Hamilton, which I've just been going through again and trying to make them a little bit better. Um, they're a couple of years old. They had a competition of wall art, and it was all over Hamilton. And I keep meaning to go back because some of it wasn't finished.
Yeah.
And um, just give me a minute, and I'll see if I
Yeah.
can
Okay.
show
Well,
you.
we'll get you there in a second. Let me just get to this point. Okay. Now we've got you on the monitor. Fantastic.
Oh,
Nice to have you here, by the way. Yeah.
oh, oh, wrong one. All right, let's go on here. Get that up. Share and wall art. And go on this one. Continue to share.
Okay. Let me see if I can get that into. Okay, you might have to reduce the size a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, oh, oh.
There. Yeah, just move it over. I don't know if I can do that. No.
Oh. So yeah, it's quite amazing the quality and the of the artwork. I just find amazing on this. This was down near Barton Street. The guy, I think that's Lancaster one.
Uh-huh.
This one was just on the side of a building. I'm not sure. They change it on a frequent basis. This is on James Street.
Now, I have to ask a question about that previous one. Uh,
Hmm.
is that painted or is that a photograph?
I'm not too sure. The original one, the ones before were actually painted.
Yeah,
This is about 25 feet by 15 on
yeah,
the side of a wall. So it's pretty big for a poster.
yeah,
It's too good to be painted. But as I say, the quality of some of these people is quite amazing. This one was still, hopefully this has been finished now.
yeah.
Um, as you can see, they got all the gear to get up at high level. This is just a closer look on it.
Have you seen them actually do the painting?
No, no.
No, I'm just
But,
wondering if they use a grid layout or
well, going back to this one, they sort of sketch it out to a
yeah,
certain degree. Um, I've seen on YouTube where they do it, and one guy he just he's got a sheet with it on, and he just marks it out in relationship to the actual wall.
yeah. Okay.
Um,
Oh, they're pretty cool.
um,
Huh.
yeah, it's just and to me, downtown Hamilton is pretty drab, and this certainly brightens it up. And I, when I was taking photographs, a couple of people I spoke to, and some were offended by it, but I think on the whole, quite a few actually like it.
Well, I think that if it's this well done, what's not to like? It's art,
Yeah.
and not
Well,
not
yeah,
only
some of
that.
this, well, some later ones are really good. That's down by Barton Street. It,
Yeah. Wow. That's
it's
good.
just
Now, are
very,
the yeah, I can see that some of these are ground level. So uh,
yes.
I remember going downtown with a class at one time, and we took photographs of models in front of the art, and
Mm, yeah,
they
that
knew
would be
where they
good.
were going to be, so they dressed appropriately to the art, which was kind of
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, I've got a list. I want to go down once the weather turns better. I want to go back and get some more photos of them.
Yeah,
And this one's weird
nice.
because you got they've actually got a stack. I assume it's a chimney stack. They've painted something totally different on it.
Huh. Yeah, it looks like two buildings, and you're seeing in between them.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's very odd. Then you got the so some of it. I got a better lens now. So some of these are in very narrow sort of lanes between
Yeah.
houses, so it's difficult to actually get a decent photo of it. But again, it's just I just find it quite amazing. And this one was obstructed by a tree, but again, it's
Well,
our
yeah.
Baker, I think it's called one.
Huh. Nice.
This one was a bit awkward. Again, it was shaded, so I did a lot of work on it, but it didn't really come out too well on that one.
Well, still not bad.
Now these ones are down by the brewery. I think it's Art Brewery down Barton Street, and they've got masses of wall space, and they've gone to town down there. And
Yeah.
again, to me, this is just amazing. The amount of detail on it.
Wow.
Um,
It is.
sorry.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
Uh,
Unfortunately, some of it's got wiring in front,
yeah.
fencing, but that's
Yeah.
the sheer quality of it is just uh, astounding.
That looks huge.
It is, yeah. This is no, it must be about 40 feet long. It's
Huh.
yeah,
So if somebody wants to know where these are, um,
yeah, I
can
can
they
give them
can they get in touch with you
as
and you can let them know?
yeah, sure. I can. I've got a list of where they all are. And I'm just trying to get it together. It's funny. I'm trying to get a map of Hamilton so I can pinpoint them all up, and it's virtually impossible. Um, you have to pay like $60 for one to put on the wall, which I don't really want. And then I just got a small one, which was I think $6. But the streets are it's so small, I can't really look at it too well.
Yeah.
So I'm just struggling a bit on that one. So this is all part of one.
Huh.
But yeah, again, this is at the back.
You didn't shoot all these in one day.
Yeah, yeah, I
You
spent
did.
yeah, as I say, it was organized, and they gave you a map and a list of all the different ones. So this is only like half of what was on the list, and I
So
just
who
spent all
who
Sunday going
organized
around.
who organized the
Uh,
shoot?
I can't remember. I have to
Okay.
look back, but I can tell you. I can give you details on that. Some of they were the best ones. The rest of them, and um, well, that one's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think that's the last one. Yeah, that's the last one. So, but there must be another dozen or so I could take, and I know some of the ones which weren't finished are now finished as well. On that one.
Well,
So it was,
thank you
yeah.
very much for showing us
Well,
that. That was something. I loved it.
yeah,
Okay.
because and it's not only here, but when I've been to Ireland and Norway, and there's loads of art there as well, wall art, which is
Yeah.
fascinating, and again, good quality as well.
Yeah. No kidding.
So,
Okay. Let's see. What do we got here? Well, I didn't want that. Sorry about that, Steve. Steve and his brick wall that I gave him accidentally. I'm bricking you in, Steve. Okay.
yeah.
So that anybody else have anything to quickly show?
I
No?
do, George.
Oh, hey.
Can you hear
Okay.
me? Can you
Yeah,
hear
I
me
can hear
okay?
you. I can hear you. Just hang on a second, Lisa Marie.
Yep.
And I'm just going to put you in here.
Let me see if I can remember how to share these images.
And now I have to go to my next layer here. I think, oh, that's perfect.
There we are.
Okay, there we are.
Hmm.
Okay, so you're on.
Hello. Yeah, I'm gonna share some macro images that I went back and dug through. This one here is the wing of a monarch butterfly,
Hang on,
which
let
I
me
thought was
just
pretty. Yep.
let me just put that up. There we go.
Yeah, this one here. See
Good.
if I can bring it in a bit. Oh, whoa. Does that make? Oh, there we go.
Wow.
That's big.
Yeah, the picture isn't that big, but I've kind of zoomed in a little bit just so you can see like
Yeah.
the details of the wings there with those little square looking um, patterns of their wings, which is kind of neat.
It's a pixel wing.
It's a pixel wing. Let me bring it back up.
Wow.
Yeah, I was really lucky. I have a friend that raises monarchs, and she gave a couple of the chrysalises to myself and the kids. So we waited for this one to come out, and I was able to grab the camera and take some images of the wings,
So I
which
have a
I'd never
question.
actually. Yeah,
I have,
yep.
I have a question for you. When you did that close up, when you moved in on it, it almost looks like the colors are sort of a dust it's not like paint, it's like dust on the wings.
Yeah, like you can
The
see like
black, for
the
example.
little, yeah, yeah. That's their, I don't know what they're called, but it's almost like scales. I want to say like scales of a fish
Yeah.
kind of
Huh.
thing, but they're individual and they kind of make up that pattern color, which
I've
is
never
really
seen that.
neat.
Never seen that
Yeah, I
before.
hadn't seen it either until I photographed one of their wings, which is
Looks
really
like a
nice.
fabric.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So I thought I would share that. Whoop, too small here. Let me get out of this.
Yeah.
Here we go. And I have one more here I wanted to share of a hoverfly on Monarda fistulosa, which is, can you see that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to share
Nice.
some of my older macro images.
Mm-hmm.
Since it's winter and there's no bugs and no flowers and it's cold and dark,
Shoot some snowflakes.
I have thought about that.
Yeah.
I never
Tonight's the
tried.
night.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, we're getting
Yeah.
lots of snow right now.
Yeah, no kidding. So, yeah, Steve, get out there right now. Take your
Yeah.
piece of glass. And Steve went over how he took photographs of snowflakes. That was, wow. I've never done
Do a
that in my
live
whole.
demonstration.
Pardon me?
Yeah.
Right to do a
Yeah.
live demonstration.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, we should go on a shoot with Michael. take set up an iPhone and he can go live and he says, "This is how I do my shoots." That's something we haven't done. So maybe that's something for the future where we actually do a live shoot of some sort. I'll see what can be done. Wouldn't it be great for Chris Atkins to take us live on one of his dives? At least, getting suit. You should see the camera gear this guy has. Holy mackerel! I don't even want to think. But I have a feeling that he doesn't own it. He rents it, and that's what I used to do in my commercial field. Is that when a job required a special camera, I would rent it. I remember going down to DeFasco and the steel mill, and they wanted me to take a photograph in a certain area of the steel mill. And I always do a site inspection. I went and did a site inspection, and I had to wear a filter mask for this place because of the particles in the air, steel particles, everything else, right? And later on they said to me, "Okay, we'd like to have a quote for this job," and included in the quote was the camera. Because there's no way that camera would survive that atmosphere, all those particles, and be worth anything after. And they said, "Oh, we're buying a camera." I said, "Yeah, it'll be yours after the shoot." I don't know if it'll work. But
So
yeah,
did they hire you for that job?
they did. They did. As a matter of fact, I've got a couple of photographs of me at the very top of a stack that they were rebuilding, and I used that in one of my ads, and it was interesting because they were still building it, and the stairs that I had to climb, which I'm sure today I wouldn't do it, probably couldn't do it, but the stairs I had to climb, some of them still didn't have the cage around them, and the some of them were temporary stairs, and instead of the stairs being level, they had a slope downwards. So when you stepped on it, you felt like you're going to slip off it. When we finally got to the top, my guide, who was one of the managers or foremen in that place, knew his way around, and he said, "Now we're at the top, the highest point in the steel mill." And I kind of looked over because the railing was only about waist high. It was metal. And I kind of looked over and I said, "You want to know something? Whenever I get to these kind of heights, I always have this feeling, this urge to jump." And the guy went white. I said, no, I'm not going to do that. But and later on, I found out there's an actual medical name for that. If you go to certain heights and you get an urge to jump, but it's not an urge that is one that will make you jump, but it's just an inside thing that, oh, this is cool. I could jump. I guess. I don't know. Anyway, that's just a side story here. So, yeah.
That was
Some interesting
DeFasco,
things.
George.
Pardon me? Yes.
That that was DeFasco, yeah.
Yeah, it
They
was.
they bought a photo off me as well years ago, and it's still hanging in their big office building. I think it's in the main lobby. They printed it on a piece of steel that they made in the mill, which was cool.
Okay, so this is somebody new that has come here, and I'm not sure. Oh, Graffiti Alley, Spadina and Queen. Yeah, thanks for that, Wally. Yeah, there's something there. And yeah, there's lots down in Toronto. I think, I'm not sure whether there's a lot down in the, what do they call it, the brewery district, but there might be. And this gentleman, Shane, I guess your first name is Shane. I've been a photographer for over 50 years. Oh, sorry, my name is Reginald Burks, and if you want to see over 50 years of photography, yeah, you know what? In the YouTube, see more under the actual presentation, you'll see my email. It's chat@groupmedia.com. If you drop me a line, I'd love to talk to you about some of the photography that you've taken, and maybe you could do a presentation here for us. That would be fantastic.
Oops, sorry, George. I didn't know that was gonna pop up on the screen.
Hey, I
Replying to Andrew.
I'm the one that pops everything up, and if it's here, I pop it up.
Okay. There was something I was gonna bring up, George, if you don't mind.
No?
We were talking about film there, or you were talking about film and film supplies earlier. Another place, another camera store. I know we don't want to get too deep into name dropping, but Burlington Camera on Guelph Line, they got lots of film supplies. They even have new stuff, and it's in their basement.
Yeah.
So, but they got a lot of good stuff and largers. They got all those tanks and reels, some of them brand new chemicals. And another thing I noticed is it's legal to sell color film developer again for some
Okay.
reason. Yeah, for the longest time it wasn't. They weren't selling it because it was too hazardous to the environment, and they were only
Yeah.
selling black and white. But I guess it's C41. Is that the
Yeah.
chemicals?
C41 is the
If
color
I'm correct.
process. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, they're selling them again. And then going back to prints, you were talking about like large format printing and stuff like that. Another place that does prints that I found out by accident is Michael's, the
Oh,
craft
okay.
store.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they print stuff on glass and uh, plastic or acrylic.
Okay.
So just FYI, in case anybody's wondering. So,
Okay. No, that's good. Good
so
information. No, and don't worry about name dropping because I really don't care. We're not.
okay.
This whole thing isn't sponsored by anybody except me. So, uh, yeah. The more information we can get like this out to photographers like you guys, the more worthwhile this whole chat forum is, as far as I'm concerned. Um, because you always come up with something that somebody comes up with and say, I never knew that. I didn't know that existed. I didn't know you could get that. So the C41 thing, yeah, for anybody that wants to do color processing. I remember I used to color process my own slide film, and that was a tricky thing because halfway through the process you had to expose it to light and then go back in the darkroom in order to flip the image from negative to positive. But yeah, lots of fun. Okay, now, oh, Lisa, did you get your color space thing sorted out?
No, I haven't had
No?
time.
Oh,
Just kind of
okay.
gave up on it for now.
All right.
For now.
Yeah. Okay. But that's
I
that.
the one question I did have for them was if they could change the color profile in the printer system where I was getting it printed.
Yeah.
That was my question for them next time I go.
Yeah. Well, and the only way of overcoming that, if they can't, is that you have to change it when you do the final output of your image. It has to be whatever theirs is. Now there
Hmm.
are several color profiles. Probably the two most popular ones are sRGB and Adobe
Hmm.
RGB. Um, that and mostly most people work in sRGB. Why? Even though the Adobe has a larger range, two things that paper can't print that range anyway. And by the time you put it into a format that's printable, you lose that. So, uh, uh, unless you're doing fine art work, which means that you're doing, what do they call that? Glissé? Is that what they call it? Glissé printing? Um, I don't know if anybody's familiar with that, but that's fine art printing. And they're beautiful. They're beautiful pictures. So, but expensive, as you can imagine. So you kind of have to balance that. But yeah, most cameras are set for sRGB out of the factory. They have both, but most photographers work in sRGB. I don't know if anybody here has anything different. Michael, what do you work with? Do you know in your what color space?
Oh,
Microphone.
You're muted, Michael.
I don't know how to answer that question, George.
Okay.
That's a
No.
technical question that I don't know the answer to.
Yeah. Yeah.
George, can
Usually.
I?
Yeah. Go ahead.
They say use Adobe if you're gonna upload your photos online, and then the sRG. I'm screwing up the words here. If you want to print them, so and then Photoshop, you can convert them.
Sure.
There's a setting for it as well. So
Yeah. Yeah. And there's another one. I can't remember the name of it, but that's becoming popular. It's I can't remember the name. I have to look it up again. But I know that there's three. And then, never mind those color spaces, there's color gamut, which is a whole different ball game. And again, you can go down this rabbit hole really deep and achieve nothing at all that's going to make your prints any better. But I think that you usually, if you send somebody color gamut that they don't print, they convert it. If it's a lab, they can do that. They just put it into their program, it converts it to what their printer is, and it prints it out correctly. But one of the things that I was telling Lisa, anytime that I took my photographs to a lab like BGM in Toronto, they used to do a lot of printing for me, and large printing for companies that I did wall art for, kind of, for their reception area. Well, what they did is they printed a 1 inch color strip as wide as the paper, and they put that down. Sometimes you'd have them with 3 or 4 1 inch color strips from that image, and you'd say that one. But you had to be there for that, you know. And then they would print the whole thing once you approved that color strip, that test strip, I guess you would call it. So, and that's a good way to go. Usually, if it's that critical, I will take if I print it out on my printer and I know this is what I like, I'll take that to the lab and I'll say I want the 16 by 20 by 24 or whatever of that match this, and they will do the test strip, and they will match it. And the worst thing for them to try to match are things like sunrises and sunsets, because the smallest deviation in your sunset is spoiled. It's not what you thought it should be. And so give them a sample. Say, here's an 8 by 10. This is what it should look like when it comes out. Anyway, and that's back when they actually had to, it was a wet process, right? It wasn't just like printing today, digital printing. No, it was a wet process that went through all these tanks and everything else. So they did test strips because they didn't want to, one, waste time, waste paper. So, yeah. Well,
Yeah,
here we
I
are.
find
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, George. I was going to say, I find that printing is an art in itself.
Oh, it is.
To match what you have on your screen to paper is frustrating, but rewarding when it turns out.
Yeah, it is. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're past our closing time, and like I say, we're informal here, so I don't mind if it runs a little bit later than that. Let's see here. I've got some. Where's my? I lost my. What the heck? Oh, here it is. I lost my cursor. Okay. Now, Michael's just saying that he thinks the answer to the question about color space. Tell me if I'm probably right about that. I don't know.
Oh.
See, I don't reckon. Usually the color space is like I say, the ones I'm familiar with is Adobe and sRGB. And sRGB, the one that most printers use, most commercial printers. Now, you might get some fine art printers who use something else.
Mine does say sRGB.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's the most popular one, and that's what they use, so there you go. Anyway, and yeah, ProPhoto RGB. Now that's another one. That's the one I couldn't remember what they called it. And you know what? Even what manufacturer of paper sometimes makes a difference in the color. Because I've done that before, even on my home printer. Because I used to, and I don't do I don't do much printing anymore, but I used to use Epson paper for my printing and Epson inks, and it was always right on. And then I picked up some other paper, and I think it was Kodak, and it was crap. I mean, the paper was good, but the way that my printer using Epson ink was printing and the setup, it didn't print well. Now, I think that if I used a Kodak printer, Kodak ink, and all that whole thing, then I think it would have been beautiful. But again, it's matching things. And it's frustrating because, now if I wanted to use all my Kodak paper, I had to go through the whole acrobatics of figuring out what kind of output should I give my photographs and what color space should I give the printer. And so I gave my Kodak paper to somebody else. Let them struggle with it. Anyway, Andrew, be sure to be here when that guy comes in with the black and white stuff.
I actually I recently developed some black and white image photos.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Do you have a dark room?
No, it was a friend of mine. I went to his house and did the whole. He showed me how to do it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I know who Lateau, I think that's the right pronunciation, Lateau Camera Club in Burlington, that's at the art gallery there. They have a darkroom.
Okay.
I actually went down there and taught a photo class, a 10-week photo class, and then they asked me back to take some, I think it was like 8 or 9-year-old kids to do photograms in the darkroom. So all they did was put photographic paper down, put a whole bunch of items on it, exposed it to white light, processed it.
Okay.
And they had a ball. They were, right into the baths, and the developers stop bath fix, and of course we gave them rubber gloves. But I had an instructor back at Sheridan College when I was going there. The darkroom instructor said, "This stuff will never hurt you," and he always took a little thimbleful of each one and drank it. See, no problem.
That's crazy.
Mind you, he was well developed, though. Okay, that's my joke for tonight. That's it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're done for the night. We'll be back here next week at 7 o'clock. Hopefully, I'll have some guest speaker for you because a couple of those people said, I haven't decided on a date yet. I know that Michael's going to be here on the 28th of this month. Yeah. That's going to be exciting. He's going to show us some of his work that he does with models and what his philosophy is on working with models. So
I'm getting quite pumped to do it.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. And
I think it'll be the first time anybody's asked my opinion about these things.
Well, it's about time.
Yeah.
You've been doing this a long time, Michael. A long time.
Yeah, well, relative, I guess.
Yeah.
I had my first model shoot where I knew even a little bit in 2016.
Yeah.
And my first model shoot where I didn't know what I was doing at all in 2015.
Yeah. Well, you got to start somewhere, don't you? I don't care what the subject matter is that you're going to be photographing. You have to start somewhere. And we get a lot of feedback, both on YouTube. Now, the interesting thing is that we've had people here on YouTube as well. Of course, they can't interact like we can on Zoom. I've been thinking of publishing the Zoom link on the YouTube channel, so that if somebody wants to hop over from YouTube onto Zoom, they can do that. So that would be nice. Anyway, if you know anybody else who's into photography and you think that this might stir them a little bit, and get your creative juices going, because it's really hard to be creative in isolation. I think that in order to be creative, you need a couple of things. You need your own creativity, but you need the external creativity that others give you. For example, I'm sure that you get creative feedback from your models, Michael. Now, Lisa, I can't say that animals will give you much feedback, but I think that looking at, and you've also gone and did some more classes that had to do with landscape photography and maybe wildlife photography. And I think that's the other thing. Never stop taking classes. I mean, you coming here, that's like taking a class because you get feedback on your photographs. Not only that, you get some new information, like I was saying. So, having said all that, if there's no other questions, comments, criticisms, then we'll call it a night. And I will say, it's a night.
Right, Jorj. Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you, Jorj.
Thanks for
Bye.
coming.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Yep, you too. See you, Steve.
Good night, Jorj.
Good night.
Yeah.